Hello everybody, this is Serene13 and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I joined and left the Nation of Islam. So I joined last year and there are three main reasons why I joined. Number one, Minister Louis Farrakhan. Okay. He is a phenomenal force of nature. He is a fearless man. And his character can't be questioned. His intelligence cannot be called into question. He is a sound reasoner and very well respected. He is a fearless man. And I wish that he was more welcomed into political circles because nobody fights for Black people's well-being the way he does. And he gets a bad rap. He really does. A lot of what he says in the past has gotten him in a lot of trouble, per se, or the media blackout that he is facing, I think is very real. But I do like his strength. That was one reason why I joined, because I can follow somebody like that. So I liked his ideology. For the most part, for sure. Nobody's perfect. But for the most part, that is somebody that I felt like I could look up to. And I love that masculine energy, the divine masculine energy. So lead me. Another reason why I joined was the MGT sisterhood. I loved the prospect of being in an organization that taught women how to sew, how to cook, how to rear children, how to have a great relationship with their husbands, and also disaster preparedness. I think those traits are wonderful, and learning those things is worth the cost of membership alone. I mean, it's worth the donation. Of course, when you get women together, okay, so, there's always a little cattiness, but beyond that, I love that. And then lastly, the emphasis on family, the family structure. Again, men as the providers, women as the nurturers, men as the protectors, women as the keepers of the peace in the home. I love that. I feel like family is the foundation of the community. And if we can return to family and let that be our focus and our emphasis, we will be fine. Not only as the Black community, but the nation as a whole really needs to put emphasis on the well-being and the health and safety of our families, period. So I love that about the Nation of Islam, because family is the cornerstone. So I definitely like that. But this video is really about the reasons why I left. There are probably some people watching this video very nervous about what I'm about to reveal. But I'm not going to tell them you. The number one reason why I left was because of the discord between faith in Allah and all of the speech about doomsday and how we are struggling and how Black people are downtrodden. We have a horrible time and white people are evil and against us, and how we have an uphill battle and almost can't win this battle against them. That's counterintuitive. If I have faith in all-powerful God, the God within me, Allah, then there's nothing that can impact my life outside of that sphere. There is nothing that I need to be focused on or worried about other than my relationship to God. That's the only thing. That's the only focus. But our focus was not that. The focus was on how white people are trying to keep us down, conspiracies. And okay, that may be the case. But who has the power? Is it them or is it Allah? We got to pick one to worship, because the more we talk about them, the more we end up manifesting that reality. And that's not the reality that I want to manifest, where my children and I'm in danger because of how white people feel about me. We don't need to focus on that. I want to focus on my relationship to the Creator, how we can make our families stronger, and that's the main focus. And I felt like there was not enough emphasis there. Number one. That's the number one reason. I didn't learn until after I joined that there's a belief that Elijah Muhammad is on a spaceship, on like a huge mothership somewhere, ready to strike down on the evildoers that do evil against the original man, which is black people. Okay, I don't have anything against, extraterrestrials. I actually believe that they exist. I don't know so much about him being on one ready to strike out, because well, why didn't you do it? What's stopping you from, what are you waiting on? So, you coming down or what? I just, that, whether or not you believe that, I don't care. But why put faith in that as the answer to the plight of black people? Why not put the future of your family and your people in your hands and put it in the faith that you should have in Allah? Let's keep the focus on that. We talk a lot about Master Fard Muhammad, Allah, who came in the person of, okay? If Allah is coming in the person of, he can come in any person. He could come within me, through me. God speaks, okay? Whether or not you want to hear it or not. Through me, God speaks. Through you, God speaks. So whether or not you channel that on a regular basis, it is dependent upon your relationship with him. But I definitely believe, why wouldn't God come in the person of Master Fard Muhammad? Why wouldn't he also come in the person of me, Serene 13? There is no reason. And so I don't believe in person worship. I do not like person worship. But I do connect to the God within me. So I'm with that, but the other part just doesn't make sense. So, secondly, the uniforms that women wear. Terrible, okay? So, the motivation behind the uniforms, or, your head is covered, very loose-fitting clothing to the ankle, supposedly, is to protect the nation from men being distracted by women. And women, we're modest. We should be covered and protected from what? From men. But I think that takes the responsibility off of men. Like, if we're covering so that men can have greater self-control, then it takes the responsibility off of them to have self-control. Self-control. They have to control themselves. So, the uniforms, thumbs down. Because women, our body, our physical form is beautiful and should be celebrated. It should not be diminished so that other people can feel comfortable. Okay? We need to embrace femininity and the power that it holds. If you think about African traditional cultures, women walk around bare-breasted in no danger. These parts of their bodies were for nurturing families, and they have their role, and it's not purely sexual. Women are not sex objects. So the religion that seeks to protect us is really sexualizing women more than if we just celebrated who women are and what we represent, okay? Islam, Christianity, they serve to diminish the essence of woman, and you can't keep us down, okay? Women should be respected, and women should be nurtured, cherished, protected, and provided for. And if we have to diminish ourselves, it only diminishes the man. Because we can't be our natural selves. We can't share our natural gifts. Men, you can't benefit from them because you're scared. So I do not Like, I did not like the uniforms. And it's not like I mind being covered and professional, but at least they could make the uniforms updated, like jazz it up a bit. They were made like that way back when, and they look exactly the same. And there's no amount of money that you can try to bribe me with to make me pretend like those garments were cute. And then on top of that, they're super expensive. Like $250 for some polyester that you not only have to pay a high price for it, but you have to wait for them to deliver to you. Honey, no. Those uniforms, thumbs down. Pick another way to make women dress, or another uniform that is not so oppressive. I did not think it freed me as a woman. I felt like it was oppressive. And if it was supposed to keep men from being distracted, it does not work. There's so many people in the mosque having sex before marriage, outside of marriage, cheating on one another. So much of that it just goes to show you those garments don't work. Stop. No. And then lastly, another reason that I left is the hate for white people. I think that's counterproductive. If we believe that we are the original people, a black man is the original man, then white people descended from them. Even if there was some social experiment on an island where white people were created, they were still created by us. So how can we hate our creation? How can we hate something that is of us? I mean, we don't need to act like that's not an ideology. That's, a big part of it. I've heard many people in the mosque say that they hate white people. I think that's so silly. That doesn't make sense. Again, the strong emotions that you have against something makes it more prevalent in your life in a negative way. If you hate something, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So the energy that you put out is what you get back. So I can't afford to have those types of feelings. I don't want that energy reflecting back to me in my life. So hate of white people is the last thing on my mind. Yes, white supremacy is real. And those people that have the disease of mind where they think that they are superior to others and deserve to live more than others and deserve more resources more than others based on race, it's actually highly human. People want more for themselves, and we can't really blame them for that, especially if we have divisions based on race. Whatever it is that they feel like they need to do to preserve themselves, they're going to do. If they feel like they have to be anti-you to preserve themselves or anti-black to preserve themselves, then that's on them. It's not real, but that is their way of life. And we don't need to be concerned about it. We don't need to be anti-white in order to be pro-black. We don't need to be anti-white in order to try and preserve and uplift our communities. White people, based on science, are descendants of African people. So if that's the case, then we are related. How can we hate that? How can we hate individuals even if they have a bad intention for us? We don't need to focus on what they are worried about with regard to us. If we're really connected to Allah and connected to God, then nothing they say or do, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. Who cares? My focus is my family and how to grow it. And men, if you're charged with protecting and providing, that's what you need to be worried about, okay? If you feel like you're in danger, then you need to figure that out and how to protect your family. But we can't maneuver in a society with hate in our hearts and also expect to have growth. It doesn't work. So those are the main reasons why I left, why I joined, and course, I have a lot of love for people. I have a lot of love for people in the mosque. Nothing against any of the people there. I really wish everybody well. I really have a lot of love for the people at the mosque. And I just wanted to share my experience because I really wish that the organization would evolve. Because back in the day, it really had it going on. They had banks, grocery stores, restaurants, transportation system, distribution systems. You know, they were baking their own bread, just selling the newspaper. But of course, COINTELPRO knocked it down. But it came back. The nation has survived. And I feel like it could thrive. But a lot of people who think in great detail and are have common sense, they're not going to join. And they're not going to join for the most part because some of those reasons. And the Nation of Islam, they don't care if you join or not. They are not looking for people who aren't going to drink the Kool-Aid. But I couldn't drink that Kool-Aid. I thought that the Kool-Aid tasted good, but after I started taking sips, I was like, this ain't Kool-Aid, this is cyanide. I can't. So those are the reasons why I joined and left. I appreciate you watching. Of course, I'll have more videos in the future. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon.